Invoking the blessings of the divine, devotees from around the world, staff and students, welcome to day 26 of the One World, One Family World Cultural Festival. As we transition to the second quarter of the centenary celebrations of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, let us pause to reflect on the remarkable journey of the past few weeks. From the illuminating insights shared by speakers from around the world, and the profound lectures on the Ashtavakra Gita by Sadhguru in the mornings, to the vibrant cultural performances by artists from around the world in the evenings, every moment has only deepened our conviction that we are one global family. Bhagwan Baba says, there is only one religion, the religion of love. There's only one language, the language of the heart. There's only one caste, the caste of humanity, and there's only one God, and He is omnipresent. Every morning, as part of the Universal Wisdom for a United World series of talks, we have heard the same truth spoken from different mouths in their own way. This understanding that we are one humanity will enable us to live in harmony with one another in this world. This morning, we are pleased to have amidst us yet another speaker who will share this profound truth in his own way. Dr. Muhammad Wasif is a professional academic composer holding a PhD in musical sciences and music education. He has authored numerous musical works and publications focusing on Jordanian and Arabic music. Dr. Wasif currently serves as a faculty in the Department of Music at the University of Jordan, which is one of the oldest universities in the country. He also serves as Vice President of the Jordanian Artists Syndicate. He has established and managed several community radio stations in Jordan and has presented various radio programs. He has also advanced cultural expression nationally and internationally by publishing scholarly research in international journals. He is leading Jordan's delegation at this festival. Now we invite Dr. Muhammad Wasif to address all of us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning. Peace be upon you. To my dear brothers, sisters, friends and children here today and watching online, I feel great joy and honor to speak at this beautiful gathering of one world, one family. Standing here, I feel something special. I have read about love and unity in books. I have spoken about it in my classrooms, but today I see it with my own eyes. I feel it in my heart, in your heart. For me, music is not only sound, it's spirit. It's a way to connect the people and with God. I believe music can heal hearts, bring peace, and help us feel close to each other. It's not just entertainment, it's a path to truth. Music has taught me many things. It has taught me to listen, not only with my ears, but with my soul. It has taught me that silence is also part of the song. It has taught me that every person has a rhythm, a melody, and his story. We are here from many countries, many cultures, but we are together. Our differences are not problems. They are gifts. They make our world beautiful. They are like different instruments in one orchestra. Each one has its own sound, but together they create beautiful harmony and a beautiful contrapunta or counterpoint. I thank Sangor Sai with all my heart. His work is full of love. He has built schools for poor children, hospitals for those who cannot pay, and many projects to help people in need. His life is a message that love in action is the greatest service. He teaches us that true spirituality is not only prayer, it's helping others. In a world where many people feel divided and are dying from hunger and wars, this festival shows us something different. It shows us that kindness, respect, and service can bring people together. It shows us that peace is possible when we listen, when we care, and when we serve. The ancient Indian idea of one world, one family is not just nice saying. It's a deep truth. It means that every person, no matter their race, religion, or country, is part of one human family. We are not strangers. We are connected. We are one. To live this way means we help each other. We care for each other. We see each other as brothers and sisters. We stop fighting over differences. We start working together. We stop asking, what is your religion? And start asking, how can I help you? This message is found in all religions. Christianity teaches, love your neighbor. Islam teaches all believers are one ummah, one community. جميع المؤمنين أمة واحدة ومجتمع واحد. Buddhism teaches show compassion to all beings. Hinduism teaches the same divine light lives in every soul. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. That's mean, O mankind, we created you from male and female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know one another. This means we are different, so we can learn from each other, not fight each other. It's a call to respect, to understand, and to live in peace. Another verse says, وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. That means whoever saves one life, it's as if he had saved all of mankind. This shows us the value of every human being. Every life is sacred. Every person matters. Music also teaches this unity. Before we speak, we feel rhythm. A baby smiles at a melody before learning words. Birds sing, rivers flow, winds whispers. All of nature is full of music, is the language of creation. In every culture, music connects people to something greater. Indian ragas, Arab oud, African drums, European choirs, all carry our prayers and hopes. At these festivals, we see this clearly. A violinist from Europe and a flute from India, flute player from India, a drummer from Africa, nai player from Jordan. They may not speak the same language, but when they play together, they create a beautiful harmony. This is the power of music. It brings unity. It brings peace. It brings joy. The best music is not perfect. The best music is when hearts beat together, when people feel connected, when the sound becomes a prayer. So, let us use music to build bridges, not walls. Let us use music to heal pain, not cause it. Let us sing of hope, not hate. Let us make music that brings people closer to God and closer to each other. Islam teaches Tawheed, the oneness of God, Wahdaniyatullah. This means everything is connected. You, me, the trees, the stars, we all come from the same source. We are part of one creation. When we understand this, we cannot hate, we cannot harm. We must live with respect, with care, and with love. We must protect the earth, care for the poor, and treat every person with dignity. The Quran also says, وَلَا تَمْشِي فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ مُخْتَالٍ فَخُورٍ. That's mean, don't walk on the earth with pride. Indeed, Allah does not like the arrogant. This teaches us humility. It reminds us that we are not above others. We are here to serve, to love, and to grow. Let us thank Sathya Sai again. His work shows us that love and service are the true music of life. He reminds us that the most beautiful sound is the sound of kindness. The most powerful rhythm is the rhythm of giving. The festival is not only a celebration, it's a message. It tells us we can live together, we can live together, we can learn from each other, we can build a better world. And let's remember, music education for children. Just yesterday, I saw Indian children's orchestra play beautiful music. That's very beautiful scene. It was not only music, it was humanity itself, truly Indian, truly global and truly human moment. In Jordan, music always lived in the popular song. It tells the story of daily life, shaped by geography, the countryside, the desert, and the city. This is living soul of Jordanian music, and this is what the Jordanian band will share with you this night, today, on this stage. And Arabic music carries a unique identity. It's maqamat, the special scales of emotion, its rhythms and its instruments and its instrumentation all give it a voice that belongs only to this region, a voice rich in beauty and depth. When Sadhguru's Madhusudan Sai wished to unite the world in honor of the great Sathya Sai Baba, he turned to music. It was the music of peoples, the melodies of nations that gathered humanity in one spirit. And that is why today we know music is the shortest road to human unity. Let us carry this message with us. Let us teach it to our children. Let us live it in our homes and our schools, our universities, our communities. Let us remember we are one world, we are one family, and may this message stay with us not only today, but every day in our hearts, in our actions, in our prayers. Thank you. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring message that music is the shortest yet surest path to human unity. Now, we would like to extend a token of our love and gratitude to you. We call upon Professor Srikantamurthy, Vice Chancellor of the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, to extend a token of our love. We will now have a short break of 10 minutes and we will reconvene at 9:45 for the bhajans. Sai Ram.
भजो गणनायक गजवदना गणनायक गजवदना भजो गणनायक गजवदना गणनायक गजवदना मंगलदायक शुभ चरणा गणनायक गोपाल बोलो गोविंद बोलो गोपाल बोलो राम बोलो हरि नाम बोलो राम बोलो हरि नाम बोलो अल्लाह साईं यीशु जराश्रम हरेर बुद्ध नाम बोलो जराश्रम हरेर बुद्ध नाम बोलो गोविंद बोलो गोपाल बोलो ये नाम सारे हैं जीवन सहारे नाम सारे हैं जीवन सहारे ये नाम सारे हैं जीवन सहारे नाम सारे हैं जीवन सहारे परमानंद के खोलते हैं द्वारे परमानंद के खोलते हैं द्वारे जो नाम चाहो वो नाम बोलो जो नाम चाहो वो नाम बोलो प्रेम से बोलो भाव से बोलो प्रेम से बोलो प्रेम से बोलो भाव से बोलो प्रेम से बोलो गोविंद बोलो गोपाल बोलो राम नाम बोलो हरि नाम बोलो अल्लाह साईं यीशु नानक अल्लाह साईं यीशु नानक जराश्रम हरेर बुद्ध नाम बोलो जराश्रम हरेर गोविंद बोलो गोपाल बोलो ये नाम सारे हैं जीवन सहारे नाम सारे हैं जीवन सहारे परमानंद के
शिव हर हे हर शिव हे शिव हर हे हर शिव हे शिव हर हे हर शिव हे शिव हर हे हर शिव
सीताराम बोलो बोलो सीताराम, राधे श्याम बोलो बोलो राधे श्याम। सीताराम बोलो बोलो सीताराम, राधे श्याम बोलो बोलो राधे श्याम। सीताराम बोलो बोलो सीताराम, राधे श्याम बोलो बोलो साई राम, साई राम 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 बोलो बोलो साई राम, सीताराम बोलो बोलो सीताराम, राधे श्याम बोलो बोलो राधे श्याम, सीताराम बोलो बोलो सीताराम, साई राम बोलो बोलो साई राम, 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 बोलो बोलो साई राम, बोलो बोलो साई राम, सीताराम बोलो बोलो सीताराम, राधे श्याम बोलो बोलो राधे श्याम।
दीन दुखियों के तारण कारण, दीन दुखियों से तारण कारण, दीन दुखियों के तारण कारण, दीन दुखियों से तारण कारण, तू है ईसा मसीहा
गोविन्द गोपाला गोविन्द गोपाला गोविन्द गोपाला जय माधव गोपाला जय माधव गोपाला मुकुंद मुरली गोपाला मुकुंद मुरली गोपाला मधुसूदन मधुसूदन गोपाला यशोदनंद गोपाला यशोदनंद गोपाला यदुनंदन गोपाला यदुनंदन गोपाला जय मुरलीधरा गोपाला जय मुरलीधरा गोपाला मधुसूदन गोपाला मधुसूदन गोपाला गोविन्द गोपाला जय माधव गोपाला मुकुंद मुरली गोपाला मधुसूदन गोपाला यशोदनंद गोपाला यदुनंदन गोपाला जय मुरलीधरा गोपाला मधुसूदन गोपाला मधुसूदन गोपाल गोविंद गोपाला
युगावतारा साई रामा युगावतारा साई राम राम
राम राम राम सीतापते
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering our salutations at the feet of Sadhguru, respected elders, devotees from around the world, staff and students, welcome to Satya Darpan. The treatise of Ashtavakra Gita begins with Janaka asking Ashtavakra the central question on how to attain liberation. In answer to this question, Ashtavakra, through the first chapter, guides him on the virtues to be cultivated and the illusion to be discarded, thereby revealing to him the highest truth. Janaka, on virtue of being a Tivra Mumukshu, or one with a burning desire for liberation, understands and assimilates this knowledge and attains freedom. Overwhelmed and overjoyed with the knowledge of his true identity, his eloquent expressions constitute chapter 2. The various concepts and analogies introduced in this chapter were made clear by Sadhguru's profound insights and explanations. With this, we move to chapter 3 of the Ashtavakra Gita and we pray to Sadhguru to bless us with its essence and understanding. Before that, we invite Dr. B.N. Narasimhamurthy sir to address all of us.
Most adorable Sadhguru, brothers and sisters, very dear students, boys and girls. We have already completed 25 days of celebration and 2 chapters of the Ashtavakra Gita in the morning spiritual discourses sessions by Sadhguru. It is time for self-audit for every one of us. Is there any impact on me? This applies to the students and the elders, everyone it applies to. Because there are students of 9th class who would be around 14, 15, and we have people above 90 years also, especially one of the most sincere spiritual aspirants I have seen, Robert Daniel, who is sitting right in front of me. Has it made any impact on me? Is there a progress? Why did Sadhguru undertake these 100 days of spiritual discourses based on Ashtavakra Gita? Though the discourses are based on Ashtavakra Gita fundamentally, Sadhguru is touching upon many aspects and many of the scriptures, especially Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, many compositions of Shankara, and even he touching upon the current issues that are haunting mankind, especially the mental health issues, addiction to social media, misery and sorrows and tragedies resulting from our too much of dependence on gadgets and many things. There is something for everyone in the discourses. First of all, why did Sadhguru undertake this? It's very, very clear. Also, he had expressed that there is need to raise the spiritual level of our community. Community means students, devotees, followers, teachers, everybody. There is need. And such an effort was very profoundly put in by Sadhguru during the COVID time. And it had a profound impact. His talks here in Premamrutham and also discourses on Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Narada Bhakti Sutra to the students, especially of the first few batches of the Center for Human Excellence before the university came into existence. There was a level, the spiritual level was raised. What really makes the impact on people who visit this place for the first time? I've been hearing to many people talking about it, is this spiritual factor, the spiritual quotient of the place, the whole place, Sathya Sai Grama, which is brimming with joy, love, kindness, concern, expressed as selfless service. This is what creates that tremendous impact on the people who come here. Because once our spiritual level increases, our happiness level increases, our success level increases, our productivity level increases. This is what happens. It's relevant for students also. For example, recently very briefly, I would like to tell you about a question which was asked to me by one of my young friends, which is relevant for the Ashtavakra discourses. The question was, see, here was Janaka Maharaja who requested Ashtavakra Guru for enlightenment, for spiritual wisdom. Therefore, he taught the highest spiritual wisdom. But why did Krishna teach the highest wisdom to Arjuna, who never asked for it? He didn't ask for it. He was a person who wanted worldly success, in the sense, success on the battleground. That is what he wanted. All that he asked Krishna was, take my chariot and put it between the two armies. I want to see who are all there. And of course, the impact of that was, the highest spiritual wisdom was taught. Why did he do it? Because for attaining success in the world, we need a mindset. And that mindset is given to us best by spiritual conviction. Here was Arjuna who wanted to achieve success in the battle, who came there, but got confused because of his attachment. There was no mindset to fight the battle, definitely not to succeed. Therefore, it is very important that spiritual quotient is inculcated in us so that we become highly productive, highly successful in life, and very, very happy. It's not that we should not try for the highest spiritual attainment. But even for students, see, different students have different aspirations. 3,000 students have 3,000 dreams. Somebody wants to achieve something in the world. This spiritual quotient helps us to succeed in the world. See, that is why these spiritual discourses are very, very effective, very impactful, but we have to continue to be receptive. See, every day we are having darshan of Sadguru itself, which was very rare. And for 100 days we are going to have it. 100 days we are going to listen to Sadhguru's discourses. If the impact has to be there, we have to be receptive. We should be attentive. And also we should know that it is going to help us. Even by listening simply, it is going to help us. A medical student will become a better medical student. A science student will become a better science student. Humanities students will become a better humanities student. A doctor will become a better doctor. Accountant will become a better accountant. A businessman will become a better businessman. See, that is how spirituality helps us. And that is the purpose. And each of us, our progress and our success on the inner front, the spiritual front, depends on our receptivity and, most importantly, our Shraddha and Sharanagati. Shraddha is sincerity and surrender to the Guru. Once it is there, we are going to succeed. With these words, I conclude and pray to Sadguru to teach us the third chapter of the Ashtavakra Gita. Thank you very much. Sai Ram to you.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
So almost 25 days ago, we started on this Ashtavakra Gita journey. It is an inner journey. It is not a journey through the pages of the book, but it is a journey that we take within, that takes us from the external to the inside, and then help us establish in the ultimate idea of awareness consciousness, in which everything else is happening. So we learn to rightly identify ourselves with our awareness, not with our body or not with our mind and emotions that go on there. So that is the exercise that we must keep doing every day, practicing to stay in that awareness consciousness for some time at least, if not all the time. But slowly, steadily, even one step at a time, we get to the goal. So the idea is that we must get to the goal. But without walking, we can never go to the goal. Yesterday, the book by Nelson Mandela said, A Long Walk to Freedom. So Ashtavakra Gita is a long walk to freedom, but enough freedom. And like external freedom or outer freedom is attained through struggle, freedom struggle, through various other efforts, including sacrifice. Likewise, this freedom within also has to be attained through some struggle and effort. It won't just drop from the heavens like into your palm. It has to be earned, it has to be practiced, and with that constant, consistent practice only, one is able to appreciate and understand whatever is being told. So Janaka started with the question, how do I attain moksha? How do I attain wisdom? How do I attain dispassion? So at least he knew all these things are important in life, dispassion and liberation and wisdom. So these are the three things he asks. Remember the story from Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's life and Vivekananda. This young Narendra, who was very much in dire straits. His father had passed away, there were loans to pay, and he had a younger brother, sister, they had to go to college, and they had nothing left because whatever they had, they lost to their property disputes with the uncle. He was a graduate, law graduate from the UK, and he could have easily taken up a job in the courts of the British Empire and could have been a barrister and earned decent living. Those times it was a good living for the people who were lawyers. But he had already been blessed by Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa to pursue another path. So he was kind of torn between the two worlds. On one side, there was this responsibility of the family, the home, the sister, brother, mother, everybody. On the other side, this was the pursuit of spiritual path, which was not allowing him to go towards the family way. And the mother thought, we will get him married and we'll get a good hefty dowry and that will solve some of our problems. And that is how they wanted to get him married. And they even took him to see the girls. And every time they take this young boy, Narendra, to see a girl for marriage, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa will go running to the mother goddess Kali in his temple, catch hold of her feet and cry, please don't allow this marriage to happen. And he would shed tears saying, don't allow Narendra to be bound by the samsara. You alone can sever the bonds of samsara, so do not allow this to happen. So every time he will pray to Mother Kali, and divine will always prevails over human will. As they say, man proposes and God disposes. So every time they will take him to see another girl to marry, and in the hope of some dowry, which will solve their family problems, financial problems. Mother would not allow that, because Ramakrishna would not allow that. He would catch hold of her feet and cry. And Ramakrishna, when he cries, mother has to listen to him, because he was so innocent and pure. Mother could not say no to him. So in such a state of flux, this young Narendra, disturbed by all that was happening, comes to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and says, please tell your mother to look after me, to give us what we need, to look after our family. It seems she listens to you. He says, why she should only listen to me? She listens to everybody. She is everybody's mother. You can also go and ask her. She will give you also. Why only me? Go ask her. So he goes inside the temple to ask her for boons. And what happens is, when he goes inside, he's lost with the charm and beauty of that mother goddess. He can't remember a thing. Like many people who come to interview room, they don't remember a thing. So now they make notes and come. But they forget to pull out the notes then. And they go out the same. And then they write again, oh, I could not ask a thing. Please give me another interview. I said, it's done now. Now I can't call you again. So the mother does not want him to ask this worldly thing. So she captures his mind. He can't ask a thing. So what happens then? He goes inside and says, Amake bhakti dao, jnana dao, vairagya dao, he says. Give me bhakti, jnana and vairagya. Same thing what Janaka is saying. Mukti, jnana and vairagya. Bhakti is mukti in a way. So he asks bhakti, jnana, vairagya. And when he comes out, Ramakrishna Paramsa asks him, so did you finish asking the mother? He says, I just could not ask, I couldn't remember. Then what did you do inside? I asked her for bhakti, jnana, vairagya. The very well, but that's not going to feed your family. Go back and ask again. This time be very firm, don't forget to ask. So he goes inside, again goes inside and forgets everything and asks for bhakti, jnana and vairagya. And outside this, Ramakrishna Paramsa and the mother are sitting and having a hearty laugh at his plight. And then again, second time he goes, nothing he asks. Ramakrishna sends him for the third time as well. Says, go back and ask again, what is this? How can you forget? It is so important for you and your family. Go ask. Again he sends him. Poor Vivekananda, Narendra then goes inside, forgets again. And only to tears he asks, give me bhakti, jnana and vairagya. And mother naturally says, Tathastu, she is pleased. So when he comes out, Ramakrishna teases him. You are no good. You can't even ask a thing properly. What will you do in life? And things like that. And Narendra says, I know this is not something that I wanted to do. It is you and your mother who have cast a spell on me and they are not allowing me to ask. And Ramakrishna then laughs and says, don't worry about your family and your things. I will see to that they get what is a mota bhat, mota kapda. It means you'll get to wear some linen, cotton, not silk and satin. And also you will get to eat food, not some refined 5-star menu, but simple food that will keep the bone and the flesh together. I will assure that much, he says. And with that his asking ends. Then Narendra never goes back and asks mother for anything. So that is how God chooses his people to tell the world what matters and what does not matter. And even if you go and ask, if God is really interested in you, like Mother Kali was interested in Vivekananda, she would not allow him to ask for unnecessary things. Because it won't come to such a person who is devoted to God. All the other petty, paltry matters, he knows it's under God's care. And whatever God provides, we will eat and be happy. So also, a lot of great saints are there who are like that. They never asked for anything. If something comes by virtue of the divine grace, let it happen. So also it so happens that once Vivekananda was traveling in a train, after that he becomes a parivrajaka. Once Ramakrishna passes away, he makes him in charge of his brother disciples and says, you take to this path of monkhood, gives them all ochre clothes. And with that, no word spoken, just he blesses them with ochre clothes, he passes away. Mother Sharada guides these young monks who were ridiculed, laughed at, even ostracized, and were even called escapists and so many things, beggars and parasites and all kinds of. These are all very well educated boys and young and able, but they all had taken to this path. So they lived in a small broken house, and whatever happens, there is a story, if you can read, God lived with them. You will hear a lot of these things. And they lived with God is another set of stories of disciples with Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So everybody's story. Now, one day when he was traveling in a train, it so happens that there is a merchant who is sitting opposite rich man. And he is ordering food and water, buying from the station, eating, whereas Vivekananda has no money. He's just sitting there eating nothing, no water to drink, no food to eat. And this cruel, heartless co-traveler merchant, he keeps calling him, you people are all parasites, you are young, able-bodied people, but you don't want to work hard, you want to sit and enjoy other people's hard labor. You people are no good in the name of sannyasa. You people are fooling the society and this and that, his whole journey. And he says, you don't even have money to buy water and food, what will you do in life? And so on. So, but he keeps on ranting, but Vivekananda does not respond. He says, my God is there to look after me, God will look after me. He says, let me see how your God looks after you. So he gets down at the next station. Vivekananda also gets down. And just as he gets down, person comes with a mat tucked in under his arms and a basket full of food and sweets and savories, looking for somebody. And then when he spots Vivekananda, he immediately runs to him and says, Swamiji, are you so and so? He said, yes. He said, oh, please have a seat. He spreads the mat on the floor and offers him all the food and water. He said, who are you and why are you doing this for me? He said, I run a small sweet meat shop here, which is, and in the afternoons I take a nap. I was taking my nap when Lord Venkateshwara appeared in my dream. And he told there is one monk who is just arriving at the station and he will alight at this particular station. You go there and feed him some food because he's hungry. And that merchant who was ridiculing him all this while, he's watching what's happening. And so it is given to him. And Vivekananda enjoys the food and thanks the person. Obviously, this was another episode in Swami Vivekananda's life where when that is needed, it will be provided. You depend on God and you don't depend on the world. That was the idea. So that Ramakrishna Paramsa taught him this. So depend only on God. There are many stories. Of course, he goes through his trials and tribulations. It's not that God makes it very easy. If you want to fix a picture on the wall, you have to fix the nail well. If the nail is shaky and not strong enough, and you hang a very expensive art piece, it will break and collapse, and it will be a wasted effort. So the God's ways are like that. As Swami used to say, test is my taste. I taste my devotees by testing them, whether they are really sweet or they are still bitter, whether they have ripened or they are still raw. And that test is a part of life. You cannot just say, I don't want any tests, but I just want all the grace. That doesn't happen. When you come to spiritual path, you will be tested to the hilt. Your nail will be shaken and given enough blows till you almost are about to give up. But then something in you tells you, this is for my good and I must do what is right, which is to be devoted and have faith. And then things change. If you read our book, Story Divine itself, you'll go through, especially the second part, you'll come to know a lot of these things. So God doesn't leave you so easy. If He wants to give you the highest, He will shake and see whether you are even capable of holding it. Otherwise, you will drop it and it will get wasted. Likewise, test is God's taste, and you have to remember that. If you are going through some tests which you call as tests, God will say, I'm just tasting, but you will say, you are troubling me and testing me. Remember these great personalities. Forget about Swami, think like Jesus Christ and others, what they went through, or Buddha, or people like that. But they never left the path of God. They never left the side of God. That is their ultimate strength, that they depend on God and not on the world. So Janaka, I am saying this is because when it comes to Janaka now, Janaka will be tested too. See, disciple says, I have learned, but the master wants to doubly make sure that it is true, what he is saying is true, and he understands what he is saying. So also remember, this is a poetry. So it is brought out in a conversational way, and that is our typical Upanishads. All our conversations between Guru and Shishya, question and answer kind of method. Today it's a very, very done thing, FAQs and things like that, frequently asked questions. And so these were those. They have been designed like that. Don't take it literally that, oh, Janaka, you realized God already. Ashtavakra already realized God. They knew each other. Then why is Ashtavakra asking such very sharp questions now? Very blunt questions now. You shouldn't ask like that. No, that is the way to continue the story so that we learn in the process. When Bhagavad Gita was taught to Arjuna, we all learnt in the process and we are still learning. Likewise, this is a learning process. This is a journey. So first time when Ashtavakra has taught him and Janaka has claimed that he has understood and experiencing the oneness, now it's time for Ashtavakra to test and check whether Janaka has really understood with deep understanding of the subject or has only understood intellectually. Like this is our journey too. We all would have understood by the time of second chapter, we all might be feeling like Janaka, some of us might be. They'll be thinking, oh, I have understood everything, I have become a Brahmagyani. That reminds me of another joke. Shall I tell now or later? We are here to listen to jokes or Ashtavakra Gita? There was a place where everybody claimed to be Brahmagyani. So all the people in the village will talk, or kingdom would be saying, we are all Brahmagyanis. So a real Brahmagyani, a guru comes to that village, he says, I am here to preach about God and Brahmagyana. No, we don't need you. We all know a Brahmagyana, you don't need to bother about us. He says, really, such a place exists where everybody is a Brahmagyani? He says, yes, we are all Brahmagyanis. Because they all had read these books and Upanishads and things like that. He says, let me really test whether these people are real Brahmagyanis. So what he does by his Yoga Maya, makes the king fall sick. So when the king is sick, there is no cure for the medicine. Because of this Yoga Maya, he has created this confusion. So all the Vaidyas, the doctors in the town, in the kingdom are summoned, all try to cure him, but none of them are able to cure the king of his ailment. So finally, this Brahmagyani who is roaming around, he says, he claims that I know how to cure this. Take me to the king. So because the people were very desperate to save their king, they take him. He goes to the palace, checks the king, And then he says, I know what is the cure for this king's disease. I will have to prepare a special medicine. And that medicine shall be made with half a pound of flesh from any Brahmagyani in the kingdom. Anybody who is a Brahmagyani has to give half a pound of flesh from his body. And with that I will prepare this new medicine. With that king will be cured. The king says, that's not a problem. Everybody is Brahmagyani in my kingdom. Take anybody's flesh. All run away saying, we are not Brahmagyanis, we are all Brahmagyanis. So we think we are Brahmagyanis till the real test happens. When the test comes, then Brahmagyana disappears. They are not even willing to part with half a pound of flesh from their bodies for the sake of saving their kings. And they all have been claiming that they were all Brahmagyanis and they have no desire for body or no attachment to things like that. So this is where God sometimes put tests to check whether what we say, do we really believe, we really experience that, or we are simply speaking because Poti padi padi jag mua pandit bhayana koi. Dhai akar prem ka padhe so pandit hoy, says Kabir Das. People have read books after books, but nobody has become a true pandita. The one who has understood this 2.5 lettered word called prema or love, he is alone the pandit. All others are fools only. Though they have lot of wisdom in terms of bookish knowledge, the real knowledge does not exist them because they have not developed love, common equal love for all beings. Then you are not a pandit. So it's so simply he has put it. So Brahmagyana also needs to be checked. Janaka seems to say he is a Brahmagyani. So our Ashtavakra is going to now get into the nuances of if you are truly a Brahmagyani, what you should be like, what should be your attitude, what should be your thought process, what should be your feelings like. And then he starts questioning one by one. So the first shloka is on 200 page of the 3rd chapter. And the chapter itself is, I think, called as Ashtavakra Challenges Janaka. So Ashtavakra Uvacha Avinashinam Atmanam Ekam Vijnaya Tattvataha Tavatmagyana Dhirasya Katham Arthar Jane Ratihi. He says, Ashtavakra says, the one who knows Avinashinam, imperishable is Atmanam, the self. And Ekam, this is only one, not many. Vijnaya, knowing this in this way, Tattvataha, completely, with an experiential understanding, the one who knows this, Tava, to such a person, Atmagyana Dhirasya, the one who has understood the Atmagyana and become Dhira. Remember, Dhira is the word we use for those who are discriminating ones, who are courageous to walk the spiritual path. So Atmagyana Dhira is the one who knows all this truth by experience. For such a person, Katham Arthar Jane Ratihi, where is the desire or where is the delight or interest in earning anything? Artha means wealth in general parlance. But why should such a person be interested in wealth or earning more wealth? Now, artha can be also thought of as anything that you desire for, like Vidyarthi is there. Vidya is his artha. He wants education, wants knowledge, so he is Vidyarthi. There is a Sukharthi who expects only pleasures. Like that, there are other Dhanarthi who wants only the wealth. So artha is resources or some kind of wealth. So such a person who has understood it completely, Tattvataha, that self is imperishable, self is only the one without the second, and such a person who has completely understood this thing, why should such a person ever be engaged in the pursuit of wealth or other things of the world? Why should such a person be in pursuit of worldly things? This is the question he is asking. So he is making Janaka think. I just now said I am not interested in anything, I am the self, I am without the second, I am like the wave, water, ocean, all that. But he is still a king and he must be interested in generating revenue for the kingdom, collecting taxes and apportioning it for various projects and things. And then his own managing his palace and his servants and his army and everything else. He should have interest in artha. Otherwise, how can he be a king? So he is questioning Janaka. If such a person who knows the self as the only one without the second and indestructible in its nature, where is such a person going to be interested in the pursuit of any worldly thing, especially the wealth? Because remember from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, we know the story of Da. Yesterday it was asked in the question. What are the Das for Devatas? What is the Da for Danavas? And what is the Da for Manavas, the humans? And it was said Devatas have to do Dama, which is to restrain themselves because they have a lot of power. Rakshasas, Daityas, who are demons, they have to control and be practicing Daya, which is compassion, because their nature is cruelty. What is human nature? Humans are greedy by nature. Therefore, humans were told to practice Dana, charity, because when you do charity, your greed comes down, they say. So, only greedy people cannot do charity. Only greedy people cannot give away anything. They want to hold on to everything and more. Only those people who are not greedy only will give. So, they were told Dana. So, the idea is that the one who is interested in higher self, where is the question for such a person to be greedy about anything in the life? When he knows nothing is real, nothing is permanent, self alone is real, where is such a person interested? Where is the desire for such a person for anything of the world? That is the question he is asking Janaka, because he wants to check whether Janaka has really understood, has he really attained that state where he is not really interested in wealth and other things, because men want wealth, that is their first desire. I want to be wealthy. So whole life goes in chasing money. And that is what I say, first half of the life is spent, you spend your health to earn wealth, then you spend all your wealth to earn your health. This is the life of human beings now. And actually you don't even earn your health even after losing all the wealth, the way healthcare system is running right now. They are only taking wealth and not even giving health back, because if they give your health back, next time there is no opportunity to take your wealth. So a doctor's plight is that if he cures the patient, he'll have no patient left. But still he should cure the patient. That is why medicine was called as service, not business, because in service we only give, we don't take. So healthcare was a service where you give it to the people without expecting anything in return. And especially you don't expect the patient to return again. That is the minimum. You don't want the patient to remain a sick person anymore. You want him to be cured. Of course that stops your revenue, but so be it. So be it. That is how medicine was a selfless profession, which is no more. I am told that all healthcare systems in India, large hospitals have all been bought over by foreign funds. Huge PE investors and other big funds from other countries, from Canada, US, Singapore. These are all large investment firms. They have purchased most of our big hospitals. So most of our big hospitals are working for the wealth management companies or investment companies of abroad. And the names are all big names that you can think of. Very few are not fully sold, but all have sold themselves a little or more. And billions of dollars is flowing into healthcare industry every year. Why? Because Indians are falling sick, a huge population, they have to go to the hospital, government facilities are not sufficient and good, everybody has to go to the private. Once you go to the private, you pay. Once you pay, these people make money. So that is the whole game. They are not here to do charity. So don't even fall for that trap. So human nature is greedy. So he is questioning Janaka, have you gotten rid of all your greed? Because Janaka is a Kshatriya. He is greedy for power, for land, for wealth. That is his nature. So have you overcome that nature still, the lower nature, when you are talking about such big things? If you look at Bhagavad Gita, it says, once who attains Atma Jnana, Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha, Krishna is asked by Arjuna. And Krishna replies, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. All the desires of the mind when they give up. Atmanyeva atmana tushtaha sthita prajnastadochyate. When he becomes totally satisfied with himself, without having any desires left. Like Meera says, koi din hati to koi din ghoda, koi din paidal chalna ji, karna fakiri to kya dilgiri, sada magan mein rehna ji. What does it matter to a fakir who has given up everything, whether he is riding an elephant or a horse or walking barefoot? Doesn't matter to a fakir. So if Janaka has realized, then he should be Atma Jnani, and Atma Jnani means Sita Prajna. Sita Prajna means desireless. Has he attained that desireless state is something that Ashtavakra is checking on him. Now desires are something, they don't leave us very easily. In fact, the reason for us to be born again and again is kama karma. That is one desire, kama, and then karma. To follow that kama desire, we need to do action. And action will lead to reaction. Reaction will lead to further desires. And this is an endless cycle in which we are caught forever. So how to get rid of desires? When we cut grass, we have garden, we maintain lawns. When we cut grass, what happens? The grass grows back again. The only way grass won't grow back is when you uproot it. You completely remove it from the roots. In Jain monks, they will go and pull out all their hair from the roots so that it doesn't grow back. It must be a painful process, but they happily do it in a ceremony in front of so many. And young people are becoming monks in Jain system. They celebrate monkhood. In Hindu system, if somebody is becoming monk, whole village will come together and cry. What a fate has befallen our young boy, how handsome he should have been married. I was teasing somebody recently. I was telling, in India, people think like that. How handsome this boy is, how beautiful that girl is. They should get married. As if ugly people should not get married. That is the opposite of that. They talk like that. ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಿದ್ದಾರಪ್ಪ, ಇನ್ನು ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅದು. ಆದರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದಾ, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಬುದ್ಧಿ ನಮ್ಮವ್ರದ್ದು. ವೆರಿ ಸಿಲಿ ಪೆಟಿ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್, So if you don't have one leg, one eye, one hand, don't get married. But if you have everything working, better get married. What logic is that? So I see in India, anybody says, I am become a monk or sannyasi, the whole family will curse itself, the whole hue and cry, relatives, whole village will come together to bemoan that loss of a handsome man or a beautiful woman to the sannyasa ashrama. That is the fate. Whereas in Christianity, they celebrate. The people who take to become nuns, they'll celebrate. When we were in Chhattisgarh, we had Christian neighbors, and when they were all going to some function, we thought there's some function, some festival, but they told they are going to celebrate the entry of a girl in their community into nunhood. That is, she was now taking to the path of being a nun. She was only a girl of 17 years. And they were all going to celebrate the occasion, like birthday. And I said, oh really, that happens too? And then I learnt about Jain monks, young boys and girls, IITians, people who studied in IIMs. They take to the path of monkhood. And in the ceremony, they are dressed up very well, as if they are getting married. They will be dressed up so well with jewelry and everything. And then they will be brought to the hall where all the people would be gathered, and their monks will be gathered, the teachers and gurus. And then they will discard all the jewelry and all the fine clothing, and they will take upon themselves the plain white clothing. And then in front of the whole public, the hair from their head will be plucked out like that. And they happily sit and get everything plucked, because they don't want the hair to grow back again. But they give so much importance to sannyasa, that is somebody who is taking the path of sannyasa is venerated and respected and revered in these traditions. In Hindus also we are respected and revered, but there are too many, as I said, people who just take to sannyasa for escaping the responsibilities of the world. More a route to kind of run away and find an easy way of life. Many people take to that path also, which is unfortunate. So this is how so idea is that when you uproot the hair, then the hair doesn't grow back. If you only cut the hair, it will grow back again. If you uproot the grass, it won't grow back. If you only cut the grass, it will grow back. Like the desires of a Atmagyani cannot be just trimmed. They are the ones which have been uprooted from there. And a beautiful shloka in Bhagavad Gita, in 2nd chapter, it comes. You can, person who is not interested in the worldly desires can abstain from it, right? Can practice abstinence, can practice distancing, can practice, in a way, discarding those desires. How Vishaya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehinaha. A person, Dehinaha, means the one who is in the body, can withdraw from the Vishayas, from the sensory pleasures, by staying away from it, by starving himself of it. Can manage that. But is it a permanent solution? No. So what is the permanent solution? It says, Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Rasavarjam means taste for such things should be ceasing in you, should stop in you, even taste for such thing. Rasopyasya, not just physical taste for sensory pleasures, mental desire for it also should disappear. See, one sannyasi or a sadhaka can stay away from physical desires because he can go away to a forest where there is nothing to really enjoy. That is why they run away to forest, because the first step is avoid the confrontation with the desires only. Because I always say, desires are like their Vali. If you come in front of it, he will take away 50% of your power first. So you are already helpless. So don't even confront desire. Don't think that you can somehow deal with desire. No, you can't deal with desires. It will overpower you at any point in time. It takes away all your sense of discrimination. So the best of way is to avoid confronting it. When you know there is a bunch of dogs who are there waiting in that road and they can bite you, why do you want to go by that street? No, I'll deal with those dogs. Don't even go, and why unnecessary? Take another route, avoid them. Like that, avoid the confrontation of desires. Where you think there is going to be a desire that's going to latch on to you, better avoid that person, avoid that street, avoid that place, avoid anything that will take you to that path. So that is one step. But that is not permanent, because how long can you keep avoiding? So the other option is param drishtva. When you realize the self, the desire gets uprooted. From the root it goes away. It means that the lurking mental aspiration also for it disappears. Physical, we can restrain ourselves. Mentally, how do you restrain? Mind cannot be limited. Mind cannot be bound by four walls. Mind cannot, even in forest, mind can think of the city, isn't it? Mind is unrestricted. So it says only when you realize the self, that mind also becomes free of desires. So physically being free of desires is easier but not permanent. Mentally being free of desires is a permanent solution. It happens to who? It happens to those who have realized the self. But I always tell, mind is very tricky. It needs something to latch on to. So if you develop taste for God, then you will slowly get rid of the taste for the world. Like a child when he's born, it's only wanting mother's milk. He'll cry every few hours to drink milk, breast milk. After some time, the mother would dissuade the child from drinking breast milk and start feeding the other foods. Annaprashna is done. But the first thing what the child does is spits it out. He doesn't like it. I keep telling that it's quite an embarrassing thing for me. These mothers bring their children to feed them for Annaprashna. They spit it right on my face because they don't like it. So now I have told mothers, don't bring these things, just get a little bit of honey or something. I'll just stick it to its tongue and be done. Otherwise, they throw it on my face. It looks embarrassing, no? You are a guru and somebody is spitting at you. The child cares nothing, you are guru or who. Why it spits? It doesn't like the taste of it. It doesn't like the taste of rice or anything else that is external. It wants only the milk of the mother. But mother has to teach the child to eat other foods because it has to grow. It can't be drinking mother's milk all its life. So slowly the mother dissuades the child from the taste of the milk and persuades the child to develop a taste for the external food. Likewise, mind is like that. You tell the mind, be desireless. It won't listen. Then what should we do? Replace the lower desires with higher desires. Replace the desire for the world with the desire for God. But how do you develop the taste for God? By being in the company of people who enjoy God, who relish God, who experience the joy of God, and they are not interested in worldly joys. To be in the company of the right people, satsanga is the way to start developing this desirelessness. You cannot, if you realize the self, it's a different matter. Your property itself changes. Like mercury changes into gold. The alchemist can do that. It's one atomic weight difference. So he changes what, I don't know, the proton from here or there. But you are changed from mercury to gold. Mercury is very restless. It is also poisonous. Whereas gold is stable. That's why people buy gold, because it is shiny and stable forever. It never gets corrupted or never gets corroded. But mercury, that's why when people who have short temper, they call them, they have mercurial temper. Suddenly they shoot up like that. Because it's very restless in nature. It is not steady. But the moment you change its property into gold, it becomes steady. For millions of years, it can stay the same way without getting corroded. That is the beauty of gold. Likewise, once you realize the self, your nature itself changes from seeking the world to seeking God. Somebody who relishes the world to somebody who relishes God. Somebody who has taste for the world to somebody who has taste only for God. That is how your nature changes. But till then, what is the process? Stay in the company of people, good people, people who are devoted to God, who are also following this path of sadhana and who are also walking this path. That's why living in a community of such people is very helpful in spiritual sadhana. By oneself, one can get bored and give up. But in a community of good people, one is motivated to continue the journey. So Janaka is being checked whether you have really given up the desire for things, because you are by nature you are a king and you should be desirous for kingdom, wealth, progeny and all that. So are you really still like that? One more thing I thought, just a cross reference, I'll quote this also from what is Vairagya, what is desirelessness, comes from this place, Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It says, Drishta Anushravika Vishay Vitrishnasya Vashikara Sangya Vairagyam. Which means Drishta, what you have seen, Anushravika, what you have heard from somebody, Vishaya, about the sensory things, Vitrishnasya, you develop dispassion for it, no desire for it, and develop control over that, Vashikara. You should be able to control the desire for such thing which you have heard about or you have seen or heard from somebody. That is Vairagya. Your desires should cease. That is Vairagya. The other thing he says, this is even more beautiful, the next of the Patanjali says, Tat param purusham khyataihi guna vaitrishnam. Tat param purusham khyataihi guna vaitrishnam. Means when you realize the self, parama purusha, then guna vaitrishnam. Even gunas, remember the desire which are innate, not the external. Deep under we have still harbor those desires secretly. Even those get destroyed. It means they get uprooted when only by realizing the self. So till you have realized the self, you have to work on controlling or replacing desires with better desires. But once you have realized the self, the desire should itself disappear. Like when sunlight shines, the dew disappears. Like that, it should just disappear from the root. That happens only with the realization of the self. So it's like self-fulfilling. You reduce the desires and realize the self. Once you realize the self, there are no desires anymore. So that is how it helps being in the right company. So this is how Janaka should be now. Now that he claims to have realized the self, Janaka should be behaving like a desireless, ever satisfied self. Cannot be again going back after 4 chapters, thank you for the discourse, but can I go and attack the next kingdom and expand my territories? And those questions he cannot ask anymore. What about this, what about that? Not allowed, because he is not having such desires anymore. If he's duty bound and duty demands, then he may do things. But otherwise he would just not do things. So that is the idea. So the next sloka with that we go to 3.2. Again, Ashtavakra is continuing and further, dissecting the thought process of Janaka by again instigating him and asking him this question. Atma agyanat daho pritihi vishaya brahmagochare shukter agyanato lobha yatha rajata vibhrame. Atma agyanat, without the Atma knowledge of the self, because of the ignorance of the self, here he uses the word aho. Oh, like for all this time Janaka was using that exclamation, aho, aho, but this time Ashtavakra uses, as if almost teasing him in his same way, saying, aho, look at that, what a wonder. What is the wonder? Without the knowledge of the self, people develop love and affection for Vishaya, the sensory objects, sensual pleasures, Brahmagochare, which are nothing but illusions to the eyes. The mirage is an illusion, it doesn't really exist. Yet, somebody says, I know what is a mirage, and yet runs behind mirage. What kind of wonder is that? Ashtavakra is almost sarcastically questioning the ways of people who say we are Brahmagyanis and yet run behind the worldly desires. Are you one of them, or have you transcended? Is the subtle hint that Ashtavakra is giving. How it is happening for the people who are unaware of the self? Shukter agyanato lobha, like in the mother of pearl, the silvery shine is there. Somebody who sees from far thinks it's a piece of silver and runs for it. Yatha rajata vibhrame, just that by brahma, by illusion, silver seems to appear in mother of pearl and people become desirous of it, thinking they are going to get silver. Likewise, the one who does not know the self becomes infatuated with the illusory pleasures of the world. So he has again used the same terms what Janaka has used earlier. He also uses this, how Rajat in this Shukta, same way what he used earlier, the same words he is asking again. Are you really convinced about it? If so, then there should not be any desire left in you. You should not pursue any of the worldly things out of that illusion that they really exist. That is the idea he is trying to reinforce or re-emphasize in Janaka. That if you have really become desireless, then you should not be fooled by the illusory sense of joy or pleasure that comes out of worldly things. You should not. Like the dog, he doesn't know, so he goes on biting the bone, a dry bone, and the blood is flowing from its own teeth. It does not realize it keeps drinking the blood, thinking the bone is giving me the joy of drinking blood. But its own blood it is sucking. Likewise, a jnani would see through the illusory attachments and pleasures of the world, whereas ajnani will continue to chase after it. That's what most of the people all through their lives are doing, because they don't know it is unreal. They keep chasing it, and finally they fall into their own graves because their desires don't end, they end. So this is quite simple. So I'll go to the next shloka. Third, it says, again it's Ashtavakra who continues, Vishwam spurati yatridam taranga iva sagare. Same word as Janaka who had used. Soham asmiti vijnaya kim dina iva dhavasi. He says, where the world emanates like the waves emanate out of the ocean. When one knows that I am the self, then why would such a person run around like a beggar asking for pleasures of the world when he knows the world is illusion, like the waves are an illusion in the ocean of or the consciousness, desires or whatever other vikaras are illusions only. This body is illusion, the relationships are illusion, all that we attain through these bodies are illusion. Once somebody knows it in a confirmed way, then why would somebody run around like a beggar seeking the pleasures of the world? Now think of all those people who stand in the temple and beg. And what do they beg? Give me a male child, give me a better returns this year on my business and investments. Let my daughter get married to a rich man. Let my life be long and I be healthy. Hundreds of homas have been designed, each specified to one of these beggary mechanism. So if you want to beg for wealth, perform Lakshmi Kubera Homa. If you want to beg for health, perform Dharmantri Mrityunjaya Maha Homa. If you want to beg for something else, maybe progeny, then go and beg Lakshmi. If you want to have power to conquer your enemies, go and beg somebody else. So all the homas were basically very structured, official begging mechanisms. And people who thought this is all that matters, they kept on begging. Now you will tell you are performing Navaratri Homa and Rudra Homa. What are we doing? I said I am not performing for begging anything from them. I am performing to thank them. For already they have given us without begging. They saved us all the begging. They have already given us out of compassion, so we are going to say thank you to them. Thank you for providing us with water and food and whatever wealth we require to run our lives. Thank you for the health. Thank you for all the kindness that the gods have shown. For that sake we are doing Homa. But generally people do Homa for what sake? To beg only in a nice, sophisticated, formal, dignified way. That is why when one man came out of the temple and outside there were beggars everywhere you find outside the temple. So this rich man looked at them disgustingly. Chee, beggars all the time, you are begging outside. Do something. He said, what is that? You are also beggar, I am also a beggar, he says. So how is that? He said, you are begging inside the temple, I am begging outside the temple. But we both are beggars, so you can't look down upon me like this. That is the story of all human life. All the time we are begging. Why we are begging? Because we think all this is real. So we keep on begging. That's why Swami said, don't be a beggar, be bigger, he used to say. Don't be a beggar, be bigger. This is bigger. Bigger is Atma Jnana, who knows the self, doesn't have any desire for things. So doesn't go and ask and beg for it. Those who are Ajnanat, Atma Jnanis are there, who do not have knowledge of the self, they think all this is real and go on begging. Go on begging. When we were small children, one thing was there, I don't know how many people have played that marbles, glass marbles. Yeah. So the marbles have value. Do you know that each marble has certain value? So the small marbles are 5 paise, little larger ones are 10 paise, bigger ones are 25 paise, and the very big ones are 50 paise, and real large ones are 1 rupee. So children would play, they'll bring money. It's almost like if I win your 25, you have to redeem from me, then you have to give me 5 paise. Otherwise I will retain your marble if I hit it in the game. And can you believe what a fascinating thing it was? Children, of course our mathematics improved because of that. But then generally the desire, that marble has value, you are collecting and you feel so wealthy. At the end of the game, if you have collected these many marbles, you come back home, especially I was not interested because Hanumant was very interested in these marbles. So every day, 1 hour he'll be missing playing these marbles with his friends and bring back these many marbles every day because he was good at it. And feel so wealthy that I've got now 1 rupee, maybe the bigger marble, medium size, smaller size. All this is wealth. For that child, that is wealth. He has earned it with the sweat of his brow for that day. But what avail is that? To what end is that. But they feel you have earned something. Likewise, when we earn gold, and now we are laughing because we all know marble has really no value. And child is foolish. But same thing God must be thinking of us also. No? It's foolish. Look at these human beings. Such educated, so sophisticated, so very intelligent. And look at their silliness and pettiness. Like beggars, like marble players, they are collecting this wealth and feeling so good about it and feeling proud and even arrogant about it. God must be looking at us and thinking and laughing and pitying us like that only, right? Must be, because that is how it is. A Jnani knows that. So he doesn't run behind this glitter of the world. He knows it is not true. Yes, I'm not saying there is no joy. When the boy wins the marble game and collects a few marbles, there is some joy. But once he grows up, he knows it is silly. There are greater joys to enjoy. This is very silly. Likewise, when the Jnani realizes the world is illusory, the joys of the world also looks like so silly and petty that he does not put efforts behind them, does not run behind them, and worst of all, bug and beg in front of God. Please give me this, give me this. So many siddhis, tapasyas, God knows what all people do. Some worldly people will run behind money, the other people run behind siddhis. Something or the other we want all the time. So desire is the reason why we are bound. Asha Pasha, they say. One bhajan is there, no? Nirupama Guna Sadhana, Niraja Dalanena, Kashayambara Veshadharana, Kaliyuga Avatara, Nitya Ranjana, Nirmala Charita, Nirupama Yogendra, Mahadeva Natarajadhi Raja, Asha Pasha Nasha Isha. Beautiful lyrics. Asha Pasha Nasha Isha. The Lord is who? Asha Pasha Nasha he does. Asha means desires. Pasha means the noose, the snare of desires. Nasha means the one who destroys. So if you go to God, should He fulfill your desires and make you even more desirous of the world, or should He destroy your desires? What should He do? By definition, He's Asha Pasha Nasha, right? How can He do anything other than that? So when you to go to God and say, please give me more wealth, give me this, give me that, give me this. Shanchame, Mayashchame, why should He give? My question is. If He is giving, is He doing a favor to you is my question. He is giving you more desires, because once a desire is fulfilled, you think you are done. No, another desire will rise. Then another will rise. The only way to stop desires is not to fulfill them. If you put fuel in the fire, it will burn more, it will ask for more. The only way is that don't give. That's why Guru is called Nirindhana Nalaha. It means he is the one who fire without fuel. Shankaracharya describes Guru in Viveka Chudamani. Nirindhana Ivanalaha. The one who is fuelless, that fire. Anala means fire. Nirindhana means the one without any fuel. So he has no desires basically. There is nothing to motivate him to do things. Yet he does out of compassion for others, that's a different matter. But he is not fueled by desires. His actions are not fueled by desires for worldly things. So a person who is a Jnani should have become like that. That is Ashtavakra's basic question. That if such a thing has happened to you, then you should see the world like the illusory silver in the mother of pearl. And then you should not be running after it anymore. You should have overcome that. You shouldn't be, in fact, running what? He says, you should not be begging. Dina iva. Dina means a poor person, a beggar. Dhavasi means runs. When he sees some little, he runs for that. Beggars run. The moment a rich man's car comes to the temple, look at all the beggars run behind the car, isn't it? I shouldn't say that, but I was there in Kashi. My car was parked, luckily, because there were some protocols. The moment I came out of the temple, there were hordes of people just rushing and tapping on the car window, even banging. And by mistake, you pull out a note and give to one beggar. Within a few fractions of a second, micro, nanoseconds, 30 will be there around the car. You gave him, give me also, give me also, give me also, like that. Why behave like a beggar? See, they're sitting outside Shiva temple. Asha, Pasha, Nasha, Isha. And what are they doing? Asking. Of course, they're poor, they're thinking whatever. But if they had asked the Lord, I'm sure things would have been much better than asking the world and begging in front of people. So even begging in front of God is not allowed. That's why many times, they tell me, why don't you go and tell gods to do this and do that? I just can't bring myself to do that. I can go stand there, you go to these temples, And then there is some problem, there is some issue. We say, do this homa, do this puja for resolution of that, resolution of that. I tell them, if you have faith, you do. You ask me to do is very difficult. I can only explain gratitude to them. That's it. If I go to a temple, I can offer a puja, not to ask anything, but simply to offer my gratitude, saying that anyway you are taking care of everything. Ishtan bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yajna bhavita. All the gods give us whatever we need out of yajna bhava. We offer our gratitude to them. They anyway take care of us. They don't need to be told. They don't need to be asked for. They don't need to be demanded for such things. Gods by nature are compassionate. They'll do what is right for you. And what is your karmas are, see, you cannot overcome them. So you go to God's temple to offer gratitude, not to ask more. Not to ask more. You go there, I'll offer you this, you give me this in return. That doesn't work with gods. And if any god is doing that, either he better have a good reason for it, or else he is not a god at all. Because why should he trap you further into the noose of desires by fulfilling one after the other? What the good is that? You tell me. So he is neither not a god at all, or if he is fulfilling the desire, he has some greater idea in mind of something bigger. Then he is doing, it's all right. But in between the two, I don't know how many people really live like that, who go to God for a greater, like I go to God for Vishwa Kalyanam. When they ask Atirudra, I told it is for world peace. For Vishwa Shanti, we should do Atirudra Yajna. What is the Sankalpa? Sankalpa is not to become rich and wealthy and this and that. Sankalpa is that Vishwa Shanti should be there, we should live in peace. That's fine, a desire. That if that desire Shiva fulfills, let there be world peace. Should I be called a Dina Iva Dhavasi beggar? No, I am not begging for myself. I am bigger only, I am not beggar. Why? Because it's something bigger I have asked. For everybody's good. Let there be Vishwa Shanti. That's a good reason to go to God. Otherwise, just go to God to say thank you, to say gratitude to God. What should be the third reason? Tell me. Third reason is not worth it. Third reason is beggary. Spiritual beggars, religious beggars. That is not what we are supposed to be. So we can all laugh at these answers, but it applies to all of us. How many of us are really not begging ever? We are all begging all the time. We cannot, we should not. That is not our nature. Ashtavakra says, that is not your nature. When you know everything is illusory, what is there to go and beg for? So you should be real king. He is in a sarcastic, look at the word's choice. He is a king, but he calls him, if you run behind the worldly things after this discourse of mine, I am going to call you a beggar. That's what he's telling him. If you ever come back to me with any other worldly idea and desires, I am going to call you a beggar and not a devotee, not a king. This is what Ashtavakra is telling Janaka. So if you after this Ashtavakra Gita come back begging again, what will I call you? Beggar only I'll call you. Why he has come? Swami, he wants an interview. No, he has come here to beg. But privately. And those who can't do privately, they do it in public. That's all it is. But that cannot be our nature. We are beggars. We are bigger than that. That nature, once you are established in, whatever comes and happens, you will accept it. I said, "Wohi din hati to koi din ghoda." Doesn't matter how we live. Everything is okay. Why? Because everything is under divine will. We have no insistence, no particularity, no peculiar reason for doing things. We just do it as a part of that. But don't beg. That's what I don't like it at all. When people come and they ask me that this person is coming, I ask them what is the reason. They say he is coming to ask something. I said then first put him on the list, last on the list. If somebody has come here to give and sacrifice, they are first on my list. Why? Because they are reaching God. They need God's guidance at that time. Those who are here to only ask for things, I tell them put it last on this. If I have time, I will see them. Otherwise, there are plenty of gods around. You know all of them. Go there, they give all these things. Why? For whatever reason they do. But I am saying I am here for a spiritual purpose. In fact, Swamiji very nicely put it. Shirdi Baba came to fulfill desires of the body. Sickness, sick people would go with diseases, skin diseases, this disease, and he would give them udi or he will do something and then they will be okay. So his glory started spreading because he was solving the problems of people, especially physical health problems like arti. Arti means those people who are pained by generally physical or mental problems. Then at Sathya Sai Baba's Artarti and Jignasus were also going in plenty of artis were going, but beyond that Artartis, desires of wealth, desires of name, fame. So the politicians to name it, the whole list of people were going. And they also got what they wanted. He blessed and their businesses grew. He blessed and they became prime ministers. He blessed and So many things happened to them. Arthartis went. Jignasus also went to understand God and things like that. But in the very beginning, if you remember 2000, go back to discourses of 2012, 13, 14, 15, you will see it was very clearly told. Muddenahalli is a university, Puttaparthi is a high school, and Shirdi was primary. In the university syllabus applies. You must qualify for that university syllabus. Now it's about jnana only. Other things may happen on the sidelines. Hospitals will build, seva will happen. Some people's problems also will get solved, miracles will happen, which is a part of the avatars or divine plan. But largely the focus here is university, and it was very clearly told. Because the syllabus is going to be tough, and it will demand a lot from the student, lot of people will drop out. It was told, right? Go and read all those discourses. Now all that is happening. Go and collaborate with whatever happened, whatever was spoken in those days. Those days everybody clapped. Oh, we are all going to get Atma Jnana and this is a new thing. We have all been upgraded to the university and all. But I have seen so many dropouts in the last 10 years who couldn't take this university syllabus, who were asked to remain pure, sacrificing, without desires, only seek God and nothing else. They said, this is not interesting at all. If our businesses double, if our wife and the children are healthy, wealthy, if our investments expand and grow, that makes sense. This is not interesting at all. So they all packed off from here very quickly. Within first 2-3 years only they figured it out that yahan pe we are not going to get anything. So they all walked away. Good riddance, I thought. भला हुआ मेरी गगरी फूटी मैं पनिया भरन से छूटी मेरे सर से टली बला भला हुआ मेरी माला टूटी मैं राम भजन से छूटी मेरे सर से टली बला भला हुआ ये भाग गए सारे भक्त जो बोलते थे भक्त मेरे सर से टली बला because to entertain them was a big headache for us. They demanded so much, an arm and a leg and more whenever they came. Because the pride, arrogance of, we have been devotees for 50 years. My great-great-grandfather drove Swami in his car from here to there. He lived in our house. I said, okay, what do you expect from me? I must be seated in the front row. Whenever I come, I should be given interview. Whenever I come, I should be given good accommodation. I said, but what kind of devotion is this? After 50 years, you should be so humble that you should be almost invisible to us. That humble you should be. It's the other way around now. So then I used to get very frustrated, but then I couldn't say anything. But with time, they only left, realized that this place is not here. Nobody is going to pamper our egos over here. In fact, what will be demanded of us would be that you sacrifice whatever you have for the sake of the betterment of all, now that you have enjoyed so much of divine grace. So if there is one particular devotee from Bangalore who came, they're very wealthy, and they are from 1930s, 40s, or I don't know when. Their great-grandfather onwards, they have been devotees. And they have done very little for the mission and all that. But they always rested on the past laurels that we were the first to recognize the divinity of Sathya Sai. We were the first to land in Puttaparthi. We were the first to take him to Bangalore. We were the first to, all that, they'll give a huge list of firsts. Then they came here, Bhagavan told them, okay, I'm building one hostel. Anyway, you people have enough wealth. In the last 70 years, you have made money. You put some money and put the hostel. Disappeared. Next time, never appeared. That was the first and the last interaction. And first interaction, oh, this is Bhagavan. Next, not to be seen around. Why? As long as we glorify and put them on the stage and say, you are the very first people, very nice, they are all happy. The moment he said, okay, in these many years with Bhagavan's grace, enough wealth you have accumulated. Everybody, whole world knows. Why don't you do some small seva? Immediately they disappear. Why? Because that idea of sacrifice did not go inside them. They were not seekers, they were not jnanis. They were arthartis who enjoyed the blessings of God, because God does that also for people. But this phase is very clear. This is about jnana only. Why are we doing seva? So that we attain jnana. Why we are doing tyaga? So that we attain jnana. Why are we doing bhakti? So that we attain jnana. Why do we do any karma? Because we attain jnana. Everybody's goal is very clear. It's nothing less than that. Why these students have been taken into schools? Not to give them a degree in their hands, so that they get employment, they become arthartis and go out in the world. No. It is to make them jnanis, and with jnana they should be able to serve and do what is required. Everybody is meant to do that only. Anything lesser than that is you are shortchanging yourself of the opportunity that has been given to you. It's like if you don't know what is the conversion rate of the currency. We are seeing every day, isn't it? Which country's currency is what and what is the rate of conversion. You have a US dollar today is 88 rupees or 87 rupees or whatever it is. If you don't know and you go to a currency exchange and go and give $1 and say, I want rupees for it, he will give you 50 rupees. I say 50 rupees is the rate. If you are ignorant, you will come back with 50 rupees against $1. But if you are aware, you will say, no, I saw in the newspaper the rate today is 87.8 rupees. You have to give me that. Why would you leave behind anything on the table when it's all yours? Like that, jnana is yours here in this mission. You leave behind that jnana and take all these petty things. Oh, my business doubled, my wife is healthy now, my children got married, they settled abroad, I am in. No, that is not the real reason why you are here. That should get over now. And I'm very clear about it. I do not want to mince words. I do not want to sweet sugarcoat anything. I'm saying as it is. And I'm not saying it today, 2025. It was said in 2015, way back. Open all the Sathya Sai Uvachas and study. And you'll clearly know exactly this was said, which was going to happen. And when it is happening, it is hurting. When it was not happening, theoretically, everybody was happy. But now it's practically started happening, it's really started troubling people. Oh, all this is very tough. Peak gets steeper as you get closer to the peak. The climb gets steeper only. Only at the foothills there is a nice gradient, comfortable and easy. As you start climbing up the hill and getting closer to the peak, the climb becomes steep. Discomfort starts because air is thin. There is not enough oxygen. Yet who wants to conquer a peak must go up and not roll down from halfway. Now you have to, this is one exercise I told even in the car to everybody, including the university. So the vision of the university, the vision of the mission was very clearly established in the beginning of this mission. In the very first 3 years or 4 years of discourses, you will know all the vision of the university, what was expected of the student, staff, what was the expectation as to who will do what. When students grow up and finish their university, they are supposed to become Tyagajivis, they are supposed to lead a life of sacrifice for the welfare of all. That is why a special new university is being established. It was very clearly told, way back in 2014-15, even before the, in fact I told the CHE discourses, Center for Human Excellence, which was started, read up all the initial discourses. You don't need any more guidance from anybody. You don't need any more guidance because that is full of guidance. It exactly told what is the blueprint for the mission. But when it started unfolding, because we did not remember those things, we think something new is happening. No, nothing new is happening. Just go back to those and refer to them and you will see exactly as it was told, now that is unfolding and happening. And I keep telling, when the Lokaseva mission started, Alike, under a small tree in 1960, our Nariyal Narayan Bhatt called a few people and said, you know what, I want to form a small club, a small group, Vrinda, which will take care of small needs of people around. We should serve the society and things. There was no idea of building a school and all that in that. It was only gathering a few good people and committing to a cause of service, because he was inspired by this whole missionary organizations, Christian missionaries, as well as Ramakrishna Order, Gandhiji's Swaraj movement. He was very inspired by all that. So he wanted a group of people. Some people joined him. They started in a small way. What was the name of the mission? It was not Alike Seva Vrinda. It was not Bantwal Seva Vrinda. It was not Mangalore Seva Vrinda. Not even Karnataka Seva Vrinda. Not even Bharata Seva Vrinda. It was Loka Seva Vrinda. Let the whole world be served by us. Thinking of the vision of Loka Seva in that time, in 60s when you had hardly resources or people or even understanding of what does it take, yet the vision was very lofty, right? Loka Seva Vrinda, it was said. Today what is happening? Whole world is coming here. Is it not Loka Seva Vrinda now? Today only Loka Seva Vrinda is being realized. Though it was thought of in 1960, the realization is happening only today. In a very grand way. But what happens if you are stuck in the past, you have imagination that Loka Seva Vrinda should happen like this only. How? Only Tyagajivis should be in charge of everything. Only people who are... No, Loka Seva, when you said you have already embraced the whole humanity, it will happen in a different way only. It is not the same way it's going to happen as it is in 1960s. Likewise, we have to open up our mind. When we open our mind, we start understanding things better. So now Loka Seva is really happening. Everywhere they know what is Muddenahalli. 100 countries know where is Muddenahalli. Tell me it has ever happened before. 100 countries know where is Sathya Sai Grama. 100 countries know who is Sathya Sai Baba. 100 countries know what is going on as a Seva Karikrama here. Where was it all? 100 districts also did not know earlier. What I'm saying is that God's plans are like this. He has a much bigger plan for us. Let us not become beggars in front of and ask for petty things and go back happy. Oh, we have got as much as we could. No. He has much more to do with us, much more to give us. But when we get stuck in these silly, petty, small desires of the world, we miss the big picture. We miss the opportunity of doing something greater, bigger with our lives. Because we have shortchanged ourselves of this opportunity of being in front of God, like going and asking coffee podi to a kalpavriksha. Bhagavan would tell that story and joke. How a man's wife told, my mother and father are coming, there is no coffee podi at home, you better get something from the market. This man goes to the market, shops are closed, there is bandh on that day. He is crying, oh, if I go home, my wife is not going to be very happy, because if it was my mother and father, it was okay, but if it's her mother and father coming, my in-laws. So he sits under a tree and cries what to do. I can't go home without coffee powder. Just then a saint is passing by. He says, why are you crying? I am crying for this reason. Oh, you are not aware, you are sitting under kalpavriksha. Whatever you ask, this tree can give you. This is wish fulfilling tree. Oh really? Please get me half kg coffee powder, he says. That's all it is for our fate, because our minds are petty, our thoughts are small, and our thinking is very narrow. Because of which we take God also and make that opportunity so small for ourselves. God is capable of much more. He can do bigger things with our lives, if only we get rid of these silly desires. Because otherwise what happens? You go to him and ask for these things, he will say, Tatastu, take that and go. That's it, your opportunity is done and gone. You say, I have nothing to ask, I am only here to offer gratitude for all that you already have done and will be doing and you are doing. I have nothing to say, nothing to ask. I am just here to enjoy your presence. God will become happy. He will say, come here. You are going to be my instrument. And I will use your life to do so much of good to so many people, to do what I have come here to do. And suddenly everything changes. From an ordinary Jivatma, you become Paramatma. From an ordinary seeker, you become the very sought, the very truth. Why? Because you have offered yourself in submission without any desires. So don't shortchange of yourself of opportunities, especially once you realize the self, all the more you cannot fall into the old patterns anymore. Why? Because you have transformed yourself. But even if you are not fully transformed, the first step is to start reducing your desires, then replacing all the desires, and then relegating all the desires. All three can happen step by step. Reduce, then slowly replace, and then refuse or relegate. Do not have to fulfill any of those desires. So if you believe that you are truly like this world is like the wave on the ocean of consciousness, then where is the question of you running behind anything of the world? Is the question that our Ashtavakra is asking Janaka. It's more like a cross-questioning to check whether everything is understood correctly. Fourth shloka, it says, Shrutvapi Shuddha Chaitanyam Atmanam Atisundaram Upasthe Atyanta Sansaktau Malinyam Adigachati. It says, Shrutvapi Shuddha Chaitanyam. Even after hearing about this Shuddha Chaitanya, pure consciousness, which is unblemished, untarnished, sinless, guileless, stainless, such a beautiful Chaitanya that you have come to know of by listening to me, Atmanam Ati Sundaram, and if you realize that your Atma, yourself, is that pure consciousness which is Ati Sundaram. Satyam Shivam Sundaram is this self-description. It is Ati Sundaram, it's a beautiful experience. It's a beautiful experience that you realize that you are the self and you have heard such a beautiful discourse on the self. Then also, Upasthe Atyanta Sansaktau. Upastha means your reproductive organs, or in general it is saying your senses. Despite having heard about the self, despite having understood the beauty of it, if you still go and get entangled in your senses back and go back into the same behavior and patterns, and Ati Sansakto, not even ordinarily engaged, extremely desirous and extremely attached and engaged, Malinya Madhyashi, then impurity will happen to you. That purity of the self that you have heard of, understood, enjoyed, experienced, you seem to say, if after this you again go back and engage in the same pleasures of the senses, while he quoted one because that's the most difficult one, Kama, after that all other things, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, all this follow. He says if that sense itself you get engaged in, and that too with such intensity, then you will attain impurity and all this goodness will be destroyed. That he's just checking again, as I said, are you still desirous of the sensual pleasures, or have you grown above and beyond that? If not, all this is going to become impure. Like if you bring a lot of pure Ganga Jal water from somewhere and one drop of poison falls in it, and then you tell everybody it's Ganga water, Ganga water. They say, but there is a poison drop in it. He says, but that's one drop of poison, rest of it is Ganges water. Still nobody will take it. Why? Because that one drop of poison has rendered the entire pot of water impure. So he is telling that you have to be, now that you have realized the self, by virtue of realizing it, desire for the world should have disappeared by now. But even if there is a desire, can't be ati sansaktaha, it says, atyanta samsaktaha, he says. Excessively attachment should not be there. Attachment should have reduced by now for you. Even if you have not completely got detached from your senses, your excessive attachment to your senses should have come down. Moderation should have happened by now on the spiritual path. Yukta ahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. If not fully, completely detached from your senses and sense pleasures, at least there should have been reduction in the intensity of your attachment to it. Somebody sent me a very nice acronym for how to check your spiritual meter. FIR it is called, not the first information report that you file in the police station. FIR means frequency, intensity and recovery, it seems. How frequently are you now still engaged in your senses? How intensely are you engaged in that? And how quickly you recover from such desires? These are the measures of one's spiritual progress on the spiritual path. Anything or any disturbance, anger let us say. How frequently you get angry, how intensely you get angry, and how quickly you recover from anger, that is the measure of your spiritual success. It means now it's not as frequent as earlier, not as intense as earlier, and you recover very fast. You come back to that state of zero very quickly. These are the measures that you are growing spiritually. So he says, you cannot be excessively engaged in the world anymore. You should develop some kind of virakti. After having listened about the pure consciousness, after having listened about all the wonderful, beautiful experiences of the Gyanis and Atma Gyanis, now your engagement, excessive engagement with senses and sense pleasure cannot happen because it will render all your efforts impure. From a crack, all the water will leak off. So therefore, here onwards, that can't be your way. In a way, it is a reminder. It is also a check on Janaka's capacity to remain that way, free from this. And I had told earlier, 5 animals are there. Shabda adibhi pancha vibhireva panchaha, panchatva mapuhu sagunena baddhaha, kuranga matanga patanga meena bhranga, nara panchabhiranchi takkim, he says. One kuranga matanga patanga meena bhranga, the deer, the elephant, the moth, fly, matanga meena, the fish, and bhringa, the bee. They are bound by only one sense each. The deer by sound, elephant by touch, the patanga, the fly or moth by eyes or the sight, and then this deer is already done. Then patanga, meena, fish because of taste, and bhringa, that is bee because of smell. One sense organ itself is the cause for their ruin. And then Shankaracharya says, man is bound by all the 5. Think about the plight of man, because he cannot resist any of the senses. He is bound by all the 5, as if there are 5 chains around him. So it's even more difficult to redeem oneself. So one has to be not excessively engaged. When some children were asking, I told simple thing is, frequency should reduce, intensity for desire should reduce, and eventually, it won't go off on one fine day, because this is janma janmantara samskaras are there. They can't just go away like that. But it can reduce. You keep replacing with higher things, and finally one day you completely are capable of refusing it. But that will take time. But you should watch the FIR now. Watch the FIR, how angry you get, how desirous you get, how upset you get, how restless you get, how anxious you get. Everything you should check on this meter of how frequently, how intensely, and how quickly you are able to recover from that. The next sloka says, Sarva bhuteshu chatmanam, sarva bhutani chatmani, muner janata ashcharyam mamatvam anuvartate. He says, once the person who realizes the self, he realizes that sarva bhuteshu chatmanam, I am the one in all the beings. Sarva bhutani chatmani, all the beings are in me, because we are one consciousness and not separate. Munehe means this learned one, janat, he knows that this is the truth. Ashcharyam, then it is a wonder that despite that he behaves with attachments, mamatvam, that this is mine and that is not mine. How can both happen together? Once he claims that I am the one who realizes that everything is in me and I am in everything, How is it possible for such a jnani to behave with partiality, with discrimination, with differences of us versus them, mine versus theirs, or I versus you? How is it possible for that person to see the difference again? So he is asking Janaka that these things should not happen to you anymore. If you still see things differently despite all that and you are attached to certain things, then you have not attained the real self. You have only understood theoretically. Like many of us, very easy when we read all these things, it feels very good and we think, wow, we know it. But then the moment we step out of the room, suddenly all our old habits, ideas, attachments, they enter us again. Why? Because those are not gone from the roots, they are there. They are there, they are not yet fully burnt. They are still there, they grow back. So the idea is that once you realize the self, where is this difference and discrimination in you? It shouldn't exist. You should be equal to all should be equal to you. How should you differentiate after having realized the self? That is the idea of our Ashtavakra, who says that this is not possible. If you are this, then you can't be that. If you are that, you can't be this. It's binary, I told you. Either you are God or you are not. You can't be half God and half man. That is not allowed in spiritual. You are fully transformed into divinity, or you are still human on the way to transformation. That's it. 99.999% also is human only who is about to reach divinity. Only once you become divine, you become divine. Then there is no humanity. So this is the idea that if you realize the self, you should be behaving according to this. Then there is the next shloka on the page number, the next page, 207. It says, Asthitah paramadvaitam moksharthepi vyavasthitah ascharyam kamavashago vikalaha keli shikshaya. Again he is bringing up the topic of one's desire for the sense and sense pleasures. He says, though one is asthitah, established in paramadvaitam, in the ultimate supreme non-dual principle one is established, moksharthepi vyavasthitah, and also is firmly established on the path of moksha. But supposed to be walking on the path of moksha, his desire is of moksha, he has mumukshatva. At that time also, ascharyam, it would be a wonder, kamavashago vikalaha, by the influence of desires, under the control of desires, such a person becomes vikalaha. Vikalaha means incapacitated. Such a person becomes incapacitated under the influence of his desires and kela shikshaya. Through playful learning, imperfect, it means the very idea that you are established in non-dual self and you are set on this path of liberation, despite that, if you are under the sway of desires, and by mere thought of sensual enjoyment, oh, I could enjoy this, I could eat this, go there, do this, itself makes you helpless in front of the desire. If this is happening to you as if you are an incapacitated person, then it is a wonder, how is it possible, he is saying. Once you realize the self, these desires should hold no power over you. And a little thought of some desire should not shake you off from this path and make you feel so helpless in front of that burning whatever the desire that you lose all control. Can't happen like this, he says. So these are the things we have to check. If this is happening to us, it means we are still a long way. If it's not happening to us, it means we have come some distance. So he is saying that once you have realized the self and Advaita, your desires, especially for the sense pleasures, cannot hold sway and cannot make you feel so helpless. Many people, I didn't want to shout, I did not want to be angry, I did not want to, but somehow it happened. Remember Arjuna said last time, Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varsneya baladiv niyojitaha. What happens, O Krishna, that I lose control over myself whenever I am confronted with such weak situations. And I seem to be losing every control on my mind and senses. And again I commit the same mistake. Why do people do this? As if they've been forced to do this, as if they've been pushed to do that. As if though they are not desirous of it, they end up in that. Why does it happen? Think of these drunkards. Mark Twain said, it's very easy to quit smoking. I have done it 100 times. That's what it is. Bound by the desire, they cannot, they just say they have overcome it, but next incident, they've lost all control. They've again fallen for it. Again one resolution, no, this is the last time. Like that 100 times happen, we don't come out of it at all. They keep repeating to ourselves. Why? Because we are not serious. See, when you have mukshutva, when you have a purpose, when you have a strong will to attain the highest, all other things you will not bother. If somebody's hair has caught fire, he wants only water. That time what desire? I am going to give you a nice cheesecake, come. No, I don't want. I'll give you 1 kg of gold, come. No, first my hair is on fire. First get me a water. That's all I want, to dunk my head and, cool my head. I am not interested. No, there is one Apsara coming from the heaven, like Vishwamitra fell for Menaka, no? If he really had the burning desire to be a Brahmagyani, Brahma Rishi, why would I fall for Menaka? Why he fell? Because he was not having this perfect pursuit of the selfless self or the desire for the ultimate supreme. He was doing it to defeat Vashishta. You know the story of Vashishta Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was not a rishi, he was a king like Janaka. Kaushika his name was. And he was a very powerful king, very capable. So once he was returning from a war with one full Akshwahuni Sena. Now Akshwahuni Sena means there are 2,17,000-18,000 people in that. Includes elephants, chariots and people on foot, people on horses like that. So the whole 2 lakh plus people he was bringing with him. And then he happens to come across they were all hungry and tired. They come across the ashrama of Vashishta Muni. And when they come there, Vashishta receives them with great honor and he asks them about what is the welfare and things like that. The king is very shy to ask any help because he knows what this poor little ashrama can provide for so many people. But Vashishta says, don't worry, I will feed all the people. He said, how is it possible? He said, don't worry, I will take care. Whatever they require also I will produce and give them. Let them all sit for a meal. So all of them sit and Vasishta's people are feeding and people desire for things like, I want this particular thing to eat, that is coming to them. So our Kaushika Muni is surprised. How is it possible? So he asks Vasishta. Vasishta says, I have a wish-fulfilling cow given to me by gods for my ashrama. And with that we are maintaining the ashrama. And with that we are running the show. And I do it for Homa, Yajna, Yagas. For everything, this Nandini, the cow, is very helpful. It's because of that we are. So king says, if such a cow exists, I am the king, it should be with me. Why should it be with you? And he becomes desirous of the cow. And he offers Vashishta, I'll give you so much gold, I'll give you so many elephants, so many other cows, 1 crore other cows I'll give you. You give me this one cow. He says, no, this is not about I wanting to have it. This is what God gave me to run this place, this ashram. This is the lifeline of the ashram. And we can't give it away like that. So then this Kaushika gets very angry and he wages a war. But Vashishta is a Brahmagyani. With his power, he finishes off the whole Akshayavani Sena itself. 2 lakh people gone. Then this Kaushika is shaken. He says, what power this man must be having? He says, I will come back and defeat this man somehow. I will also do tapasya and attain all the powers and come back and defeat. That is why he goes to do tapasya. But his desire was to defeat this man and steal the cow. It was not to really attain any Brahmagyana. He did tapas for lower reasons. So when he was doing tapas like that, he was becoming very, very powerful. That time they think this man, if becomes powerful, already is a very greedy man and also very desirous of things and he has ill intentions. If he becomes very powerful, it will be another trouble. So they send Menaka. Menaka was one of these damsels from the heavens. Very beautiful it seems. She comes down and there is a whole description in Mahabharata you can read. And looking at her, he falls. Because she is so beautiful that he couldn't resist her beauty. And so he falls for her, they marry, then they have this daughter called Shakuntala. That Shakuntala's son is Bharata, who is the king of the country Bharata in those days. So that was how Vishwamitra, because he had other lower desires, he had not finished the desires from the root. He went to do tapas not for sake of attaining Brahmagyana. He went to do tapas so that he develops power with which he can defeat Vashishta. And because his idea of tapas itself was wrong, he was still having all these lower desires. So when Menaka comes, he just falls. If it was real tapasvi, he would have seen Menaka also as one more form of that Brahman. He wouldn't be able to see her as a woman. And therefore there won't be any desire arising in him. But because he saw as different from him, as another woman who is also beautiful, so he became desirous of her. And that is how he fell for her and that is how this whole thing happened. So this is what this is saying, that Astita Paramadvaitam, if you are really established in the self, and you see Sarva Bhuteshu Chatmanam, Sarva Bhutani Chat, if all this is there, then Ashcharyam Kama Vashugo Vikalha Kela Shikshaya. How can you become helpless in front of your desire? And every time he uses Kama, because amongst the 6 Tarishat Varga, Kama is one of the most difficult ones. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara. So Vishwamitra was already having Lobha in him, Krodha in him, Mada in him, Matsara in him. And Kama was naturally there. But against Vasistha, he was using the other things, anger, greed, jealousy, all that was using against Vasistha. But his own weakness was Kama. So the moment he saw the woman, he could not see the self in that. Therefore, he became desirous, and so this happened. So what he's saying is that once you have reached that state, all these should not perturb you anymore. You can't be helpless in front of these things. Use of words you should see. He says, Atyanta Sansakta should not be there. Yes, you want to eat. That's not a bad desire. I will eat this only and I will eat this much. That is a bad desire. If this is not there, I shall not eat. This kind of stubbornness is not there anymore. Yes, you are married. You have a reason why you have karma, and you have the reason to produce children for the betterment of society. To that extent is fine. It can't be more than that. Yes, sometimes teachers have to set the students right. A little anger helps. But that is for a purpose. That is not to take revenge and harm somebody. So, Atyanta Sangsakti you cannot be in your ideas of world and desires. Some within the ambience or within the ambit of yoga, it is okay. As long as it is moderated and it is used for dharma, it is okay. Other than that, extreme engagement with any of the worldly things is not the nature of a jnani. That's what he's saying. So he's kind of reminding Janaka that if you end up like this, then know for sure that you are not perfected yet. You are thinking you have become perfect, like those Brahmagyanis of that kingdom. They think they are Brahmagyanis, but when the real acid test is put, one desire arises in front of you, you are all shaken and helpless. And that's it. That's the end of your Brahmagyana. So if that is happening to you, then you are not yet Brahmagyani or Janaka. In this way, he is trying to kind of goad him and in a way instigate him and check on his perfection of understanding of Brahmagyana. There's also a beautiful story of one Muni called Shaubari. It's from Bhagavatam, I think, where this Muni is doing tapas underwater. Imagine going underwater and losing in tapas, but he sees two fishes. They were mating. Looking at the fishes, he becomes desirous. And what does he do? He immediately wants to marry and have a relationship. But then he is an old man with limbs which are gone, and not at all handsome. So what do I do? So he approaches the king of that place, Mandata, and tells, I believe you have 50 daughters. I would like to marry at least one. Can you give me one daughter in marriage? Now the king does not know he is a rishi. He will give curse if you don't agree to things. So he devises a plan. He says, I will tell all my daughters to come tomorrow with Varamala, and whichever daughter likes you, let her marry you. Because he knew very well that this rishi looked so ugly and old and infirm, but that no daughter will marry him. And that time Swayamvara was the rule. The girl chooses the boy. Boys cannot choose the girl. Boys can only present themselves and their skills and talent and everything. Finally, the girl decides whom she wants to choose. Remember, Sita Swayamvara also happened like that. Draupadi Swayamvara. So he prepares the Swayamvara for the next day. Our rishi is very clever. He also knows that I don't look good, so nobody is going to marry me, an old hag like me. So what should I do? With his tapas, he becomes a handsome young man. So very beautiful and handsome that anybody can fall for him. And with that handsome body, he comes to the kingdom. Looking at him, all the 50 girls want to marry him now. This is the other problem. Because there is no jnana, they only see the body and then whatever comes out of it, right? So all of them want to marry him. The king is in a dilemma. I thought nobody will marry and I am done, I am safe. Now all my daughters, they all start fighting with each other to marry him. Then the king says, this is a big dilemma, how do I resolve it? He says, don't worry. He creates 50 clones of his, exact replica of himself through his yoga, Shakti. And each of these clone marries each of the daughter of the king. So 50 marriages happen. And then the 50 people have to live somewhere. So he created 50 palaces with his yoga Shakti. And in 50 palaces, these 50 replicas of his are living with 50 daughters of the king and having a happy married life. And then they have children because that is what his desires were. Then slowly when the children grow, he increases the size of the palaces. But to provide for all these people, he needs wealth. So with Yoga Shakti, he creates wealth and servants and riches to provide for all these things. One fine day, the father king of these daughters happens to come to his place. He says, there is no small thing here. It is a whole big kingdom. It is bigger than my kingdom that he has created. So he comes to this Shaubari Muni and says, what have you done? You have created a whole new kingdom out of your powers, bigger than even mine. Then suddenly it strikes him. Was I here to create a new kingdom? Was that my goal in life? Or was I to do tapas and realize the self? What was my, he suddenly it strikes him that he is already deviated. He feels very repentant about it. And he says, see, one vision of two fishes mating inside the water, they are animals, that is their way of life. I am a rishi, I was supposed to have done tapas and realized the self. And look at, but just watching that I became so helpless that I ended up marrying 50 people and have created the whole mess of a huge kingdom and so many children and everything I have to look after now. I don't want all this. But he has no escape. He has gotten into this chakravyuha. Then with his yogic power, he calls all his wives and tells, see, I am a sannyasi, this is my true nature, you must allow me to become a renunciate. But they say, no, we can't let you go like this. So then he gives them also jnana, and finally he tells them, you also accompany me to the forest, let us live a life of vanaprastha sannyasa and give up the kingdom and things like that. Good sense prevails, it seems they all follow him and they also take to the path of sannyasa. But what I am saying is that this Bhagavatam story is relevant because a rishi was so powerful that he could sit underwater and meditate, no oxygen, no air. Yet he fell for just one sight of two fishes and developed such a huge desire for it that he created a whole lot of kingdom and all kinds of things just to fulfill his desire. So this is what is the power of, so somebody who is a jnani will not fall for these things. That's what Ashtavakra is saying. He will not fall for such petty things. Ajnanis will keep falling for it. So if you are a jnani, you cannot. Why I keep telling these institutions can run only by jnanis? Because only jnanis won't fall for the lower desires. Jnanis won't fall for these temptations of wealth, wine, women, whatever they say. The Ramakrishna Paramsa would say, Kamini Kanchana. They won't fall for this. Because they are beyond that. So that is why these Ashtavakra Gitas and all things are very important. And I believe that in 100 days, if not like we become jnanis, at least we will be people who have lesser engagement with the worldliness. We would be less engaged, FIR would be better, less frequent, less intense and faster recoveries. At least that much if we achieve 100 days would have made some sense to all of our spiritual progress. So one step at a time. On this path of spirituality, as I said, all desires can be given up, all relations can be given up, all pursuits can be given up, no harm. Nobody can call you, oh, you are an escapist, you ran away from your responsibilities like Swami Vivekananda. Nobody can call you. So be ready to give up anything for the sake of realizing the self. Nothing matters if you are really, truly, because anyway, these are mirages. Anyway, these are illusory. These are dream relations, dream wealth, dream happiness and dream sorrows. How does it matter? It doesn't matter. That's confirmed conviction is there, then one is able to give up all other pursuits. One bhajan is there, vachana is there. Yavudu? Ondu bari sir. Toredu jivisa bahude. This is a vachana called Toredu jivisa bahude by Kanakadasa. Kanakadasa, great, he was a born, so there is Shudra, the lower caste person, but he went to Udupi, Krishna temple, and he wanted to have darshan of Lord Krishna, but they won't allow people from lower castes inside. So he cried, and that so happened that a crack forms in the temple's back wall where he was standing, and the Krishna turns around to show his face through the crack. And till today that space in the wall is called Kanakadasana Kindi. It means the gap from which Kanakadasa saw Krishna. That is a legend, and he has also composed several. Though he is a Dvaita Bhava, Bhakti is about Dvaita Bhakti with Krishna. But what he says is that for Krishna's sake, one can give up anything. That is the idea.
ಚರಣಗಳ ಬರಿದೆ ಮಾತೆ ಕಿನ್ನು ಅರಿತು ಪೇಳುವೆನಯ್ಯ ಬರಿದೆ ಮಾತೆ ಕಿನ್ನು ಅರಿತು ಪೇಳುವೆನಯ್ಯ ತೊರೆದು ಜೀವಿಸಬಹುದೇ ಹರಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಚರಣಗಳ ತೊರೆದು ಜೀವಿಸಬಹುದೇ ಹರಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಚರಣಗಳ ಬರಿದೆ ಮಾತೆ ಕಿನ್ನು ಅರಿತು ಪೇಳುವೆನಯ್ಯ ಬರಿದೆ ಮಾತೆ ಕಿನ್ನು ಅರಿತು ಪೇಳುವೆನಯ್ಯ ತೊರೆದು ಜೀವಿಸಬಹುದೇ ಹರಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಚರಣಗಳ ತೊರೆದು ಜೀವಿಸಬಹುದೇ ಹರಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಚರಣಗಳ ತಾಯಿ ತಂದೆಯ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಪವ ಮಾಡಲು ಬಹುದು ತಾಯಿ ತಂದೆಯ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಪವ ಮಾಡಲು ಬಹುದು ದಾಯಾದಿ ಬಂಧುಗಳ ಬಿಡಲು ಬಹುದು ದಾಯಾದಿ ಬಂಧುಗಳ ಬಿಡಲು ಬಹುದು ರಾಯತ ಮುನಿದರೆ ರಾಜವನೇ ಬಿಡಬಹುದು ರಾಯತ ಮುನಿದರೆ ರಾಜವನೇ ಬಿಡಬಹುದು ಕಾಯಜ ಪಿತನಿಲ್ಲ ಅಡಿಯ ಬಿಡಲಾಗದು 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 ತೊರೆದು ಜೀವಿಸಬಹುದೇ ಹರಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಚರಣಗಳ ತೊರೆದು ಜೀವಿಸಬಹುದೇ ಹರಿ ನಿನ್ನ ಚರಣಗಳ ಒಡಲು ಹಸಿಯಲು ಅನ್ನವಿಲ್ಲದಲೇ ಇರಬಹುದು ಒಡಲು ಹಸಿಯಲು ಅನ್ನವಿಲ್ಲದಲೇ ಇರಬಹುದು ಪಡೆದ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರವ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೊರಡಬಹುದು ಪಡೆದ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರವ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೊರಡಬಹುದು ಮಡದಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕಡೆಗೆ ತೊಲಗಿಸಿಯೇ ಬಿಡಬಹುದು ಮಡದಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಕಡೆಗೆ ತೊಲಗಿಸಿಯೇ ಬಿಡಬಹುದು ಪ್ರಾಣವನು ಪರರು ಬೇಡಿದರೆತ್ತಿ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. ಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನವ ತಗ್ಗಿಸಲುಬಹುದು. ಪ್ರಾಣವನು ಪರರು ಬೇಡಿದರೆತ್ತಿ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. ಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನವ ತಗ್ಗಿಸಲುಬಹುದು. ಪ್ರಾಣನಾಯಕನಾದ ಆದಿಕೇಶವರಾಯ. ಪ್ರಾಣನಾಯಕನಾದ ಆದಿಕೇಶವರಾಯ. ಆದಿಕೇಶವರಾಯ. ನಿನ್ನಡಿಯ ಬಿಡಲಾಗದು ಬಿಡಲಾಗದು ಬಿಡಲಾಗದು.
सर्वसुगुण सिंधवे सकल सुजन बंधवे. सर्वसुगुण सिंधवे सकल सुजन बंधवे. गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमंगलम्. सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमंगलम्. दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय. दीन दुखित पोषकाय दान धर्म प्रेरकाय. सर्वलोकहितरताय सर्वमङ्गलम्. सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम्. वेदराजवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय. वेदराजवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय. ब्रह्मज्ञानबोधकाय दिव्यमङ्गलम्. सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम्. सदय हृदय राजिताय सुमन सदन शङ्कराय. सदय हृदय राजिताय सुमन सदन शङ्कराय. शरणमुक्तिकारणाय मोक्षमङ्गलम्. सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम्. सत्यसायिनः प्रियाय सत्यप्रेम विग्रहाय. सत्यसायिनः प्रियाय सत्यप्रेम विग्रहाय. नित्यशुद्ध निर्मलाय नित्यमङ्गलम्. सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय दिव्यमङ्गलम्. सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम्. ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे. भक्तजना संरक्षक भक्तजना संरक्षक प्रतिमलेश्वरा. ॐ जय जगदीश हरे. शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते. आश्रित कल्पलतेगा आश्रित कल्पलतेगा पावन बांधवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता गुरुदैवमु मरियंतयुरीवे स्वामी मरियंतयुरीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नामेन्द्र शरणा ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी वो साई महादेव सद्गुरु साई महादेवा मंगल हारति अंदुको मंगल हारति अंदुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय जय बोलो सद्गुरु श्री मधुसूदन साई जी की जय